So for our first session of the day on recovery, very pleased to hand over to your chair, Neil Reevely from ADAS, who will give a brief introduction and then start the programme running. So over to you, Neil.
Thanks very much, Paul. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Good morning. On behalf of the organisers, the Association of Directors of Adult Social Services, commonly known as ADAS, as many of you will know, foundations and the Housing Learning and Improvement Network, commonly known as the Housing LIN, I want to wish you a very warm welcome. And I think for many of us, I'm sitting here in a sunny Harrogate. I hope where you are, you can see some good weather as well. I think it is going to be warm today, but our welcome's even warmer. So it's fantastic to I almost said see you there. Well, I can see some of you, but not all of you. We're absolutely delighted that so many people are joining us today. We've had well over 900 people who have registered. So thank you to you all. We think we've got a really good lineup and a really good conference to present to you, and we certainly got a fantastic array of speakers throughout the day. So hopefully you will both enjoy the conference, but also take quite a bit away from it. So, as Paul said, I'm Neil Reevely. I chair the ADAS Housing Network and also work with the Local Government Association as a Care and Health Improvement Advisor. And I feel particularly privileged to have been asked to chair this first session of the day and to introduce some really esteemed colleagues. So, as the country prepares for the next phase of living with COVID-19 pandemic, as we saw from the Prime Minister yesterday, some relaxing of some things, and as systems up and down the country prepare to move to a new normal and reset and recover how partner organisations work together, we wanted to convene this national virtual gathering to reflect on the last 3 months or so, to share some of the learning from the great work that has been going on, with the aim of both helping systems plan their local reset, but also and importantly to understand what messages we collectively want to draw to the attention of national policymakers and the influences of national policy. And we will be drawing up those messages following today's conference. And as has been said, we have a lot of people involved, and with so many people joining us, we have a great opportunity to speak loudly and to be heard on the issues that we feel so passionately about. So I would encourage you to get involved in the discussion through the various methods that Paul described during the course of the day. Because despite the horrible impact the pandemic has had, we have seen some real progress and step changes in various areas of our work in supporting some of our most vulnerable citizens. And I sense a real determination not to go backwards from where we have made those positive steps forward, but to act on the learning and to make further positive step change. We know government in particular will be looking to develop the policy agenda post-COVID, and so we were delighted to get the support of all government departments, but particularly the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government for today's conference. And in that respect, I'm delighted that Luke Hall MP, the Minister for Rough Sleeping and Housing, wanted to provide a formal introduction to our conference, and Luke kindly recorded the following video. And a phrase I've often wanted to say, run VT.
It is a great pleasure to be here today, albeit virtually, to say a few words at the invitation of ADAS, Housing LIN and Foundations. I know many of you here represent organisations across social care, housing and health, and that you are involved firsthand in supporting some of our most vulnerable people. So I want to say thank you for your incredible efforts through this genuinely unprecedented time. This is a pandemic that has enabled us to change our approach to protecting some of the most vulnerable people. We've taken decisive action by providing extra funding to organisations supporting rough sleepers, survivors of domestic abuse, and many others. We've allocated £6 million to over 130 frontline homelessness charities and £3.2 million for emergency rough sleeping provision to local authorities. We are genuinely proud that we have already managed to get out over £8 million to frontline charities, providing over 1,500 more safe bed spaces for survivors of domestic abuse. It has been genuinely inspiring, actually, to see how many of your organisations have stepped up to provide services and support in innovative ways during this extraordinary period. We see this in examples like COVID Care, a local hotel turned treatment centre in East London specifically for rough sleepers. And so far, nearly 1,000 vulnerable people have been housed in emergency accommodation, a significant achievement made possible because of your efforts. And as we look towards recovery, we are drawing on the lessons we have learned to inform our national recovery, including redoubling efforts to meet our commitment to ending rough sleeping for good during this Parliament. Thanks to the shielding programme, we have found out where the majority of rough sleepers are, what their needs are, and actually know who they are for the first time, certainly in my lifetime. So as we recover, we can give them the right mental and physical support in a tailored and personal way that will be the most targeted and effective. And this is a prime example of bringing health, housing and care together to achieve better outcomes for the people who need it the most. Finally, just on regeneration. For this recovery to be sustainable, our support must extend beyond the immediate crisis. And our new rough sleeping task force underlines our determination to deliver this, as do our plans to massively increase the housing stock for move-on accommodation and affordable homes. This amounts to billions of pounds for hundreds of thousands of homes, including those absolutely vital 6,000 additional move-on accommodation spaces for rough sleepers, more than half of which will be delivered in the next 12 months. We also continue to support policies that help people to live independently and safely in their own home, such as our Disabled Facilities Grant, worth £505 million, which has recently been paid out to local councils, and that will help them deliver home adaptations for older and disabled people, because our aim is to ensure that vulnerable people have a place to stay which is safe and which offers the support that they need to flourish. So it only remains for me to thank our hosts and to thank you all for coming together so that we can continue to learn from one another and recognise the incredible achievements that we've all managed to deliver during this difficult time. The work that you are doing, that we're all doing together, is instrumental to our national recovery and to making the difference that we all want to see: health, housing, care, working together to deliver better outcomes for everyone.
So once again, a big thank you to the Minister for his introduction. And it's particularly important because we know we've been specifically asked as an outcome of this conference to feed information through to the Ministry so that as we look to recover, reset and regenerate, they can take the messages forward in the coming months. So another encouragement really for everyone to continue to contribute during the course of today.